Hi everyone, this is Happy Bird from happybirdsglitternest.blogspot.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make a really inexpensive and easy craft embellishment for you to put on your altered jewelry boxes or your photo albums, anything you would like to use this for. If you were to go out and buy something like this that was real beadwork, it would cost you a small fortune. So I'm going to show you how to put this together with nothing more than stiff felt, triple thick. And by the way, my ladies in the UK, I have a friend named Elaine who has a Facebook page called the Crafty Syndicate, and I'll put her Facebook page down below because she has a seller who sells these to the ladies in the UK, and so she has that link for you. And so I'll put that down below, that information, in the show more drop down bar as well as on my blog. Now with this I also used 4mm type pearls, acrylic pearls, and a couple of different types of seed beads in gold and aqua. They were 11.0. So if you have seed beads lying around your house and acrylic pearls, use those. And then I just used the little acrylic pearl chain around here. And I do have a pattern for you, by the way, and you can download the pattern for free. And I'll put all that information down below in the show more drop down bar as well as on my blog. And just added a little bail. I made this little teardrop charm. You don't have to put that little charm on here, but I chose to do it. You can also buy these made up ahead of time by the strand at Michael's. I've seen them there in different colors. And this is just little marabou feathers that I bought at Michael's, and I found this in the kids section where all the little boas are and stuff, and actually it was pretty cheap. I bought a bag full, a small bag full. And then I used the ultra fine glitter to give it some glitz on top. And this is very, very heavy duty and sturdy, and very well put together. You could actually wear this as a brooch, I think, if you put a pin backing on the back here, and if it was large enough, because I think you would need something fairly large to hold this. So, but I just thought this would be really pretty. You can use your imagination. You could glue this onto a vase, and give it as a Valentine's Day gift. And use your imagination. The pearls and the seed beads, use colorful ones if you want, or pastel colored ones. I know that Walmart carries this little pearl chain. Usually you'll see more of it as it gets closer to Valentine's Day. In the spring they'll even have them in different colors. Last year I bought a couple of rolls from Walmart of the 3mm pearl chain, and they had them in pink and a really pretty light aqua color. And they also have the white and the cream color year round. So there's a lot of different ways you can do this. So just make this your own. And I also want to invite you to my Facebook page. It's called Happy Birds Glitter Nest, and it's a closed group page, and I'll put my link down below. I think you'll love it. We have a wonderful group of ladies in that group, and they're so supportive, and I just love how my Facebook group has turned out. I wasn't too sure about it at first when I first started it, if there would be a whole lot of interest, and boy was I wrong. So if you have a chance, come and click on join, and I'll approve you, and you can join in on the fun. So with that said, I'll stop my yakking, and we'll move on to how I made this and how you can make it. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need to do is to print out my little layered flower pattern, and you have to decide whether you're going to just do a single layer of flower or a 2-layer flower. And so today I'm going to do a 2-layer flower. So I'm going to use number 1 and number 2 for this project. So I cut these out. This is number 1 and this is number 2. And you're going to take some triple thick. This is by Deco Art. It's Americana Triple Thick. It's a brilliant brush-on gloss glaze. You can pick these up at your craft store or online. I usually buy mine on eBay. And it comes in a bottle too. And it also comes in a larger jar than this. This is a 4-ounce, but it does come in an 8-ounce jar. So what I'm going to do, move my camera down, is I'm just going to put a fairly generous layer of the triple thick to create a skin on this stiff felt. And I'm just going to spread it around, and this will soak in, which is what you want, because you want it to soak in and then dry, so anything that you add on top of that will not soak in. It'll sit on the top of the felt, which is what we want, okay? And if you live in a place where it's not easy for you to find the stiff white felt, I had a lady from the UK email me and tell me that she used fabric stiffener on regular felt and that it worked out great, so I was glad to hear that. So we're going to let this skin form on the stiff white felt flower pattern, and I already put the triple thick on this one and allowed it to dry. So you only need to do one side. You don't need to do both sides, just one side. So I'm going to allow this to dry for probably 5 hours or so, and it depends on where you live. And then I'll come back and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so as you can tell, this is nice and stiff, it's dried. So you're going to need some pearl chain, and they have it by the roll at Walmart, eBay, Etsy, so you just have to look for it. And I would get the 3mm. I had some of this metallic pearl type chain that I picked up a couple of Christmases ago at Michael's at their 80% off rack. So I'm going to use this. Now it's not quite as flexible as the pearl chain, but I think it'll still work really, really well. So I'm going to take my little hot glue gun, and I like the SureBonder mini detail glue gun because it puts out just a little bit of glue. And I'm going to do one petal at a time. If you try to do more than that, you're going to be frustrated. And just kind of curve it around. And like I said, I'm working with this and it's not quite as flexible as the pearl chain, but this will do. Okay. And we'll just take our time and do this. There's no need to rush. And I'm not too worried about getting glue in this section here because we're going to be filling that in just as long as it's not a glob of glue. Okay, and then come in here. And these flowers are so easy to make and they're very inexpensive. These would be great for all kinds of projects. If you make the altered or mixed media boxes, you know, this would be a great little embellishment to use. If you wanted to, you could turn this into a brooch. So many things you can do with this. And I'm just going around slowly. Just have a couple more petals to go. If you try to rush it, then you'll end up making mistakes and getting frustrated. But if you just take your time, one little tiny section at a time, then you'll do really well. There we go. And try to bend this. Like I said, this is not the most flexible stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little detail scissors and just snip it off right there. Now, once we fill this with triple thick, the triple thick will kind of seep into this area here, and it'll hold this chain around here, this pearl chain. And so, I mean, it's nice and tight now, but it'll even be more so once we put all this together. So like I said, you know, don't worry if you get a little teeny bit of glue in the middle here like that. That's fine. So it doesn't have to be perfect. It's supposed to be a little on the whimsical side. So I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to fill the inside with triple thick. Okay, so as you can see, I did the smaller one off camera so you wouldn't have to sit there and watch me put the pearl chain on all over again on the second one. So what I'm going to do is, since this is going to be a two-part layered flower, is you're going to choose which bling you want. And I buy my bling from a certain seller on eBay. I have for several years now. And I'll put his link in the Show More drop-down bar, as well as on my blog, if you want that. They're very inexpensive. And so you can choose to either use this for the middle, or this, you know, any type of blingy type button you want. I think I'm going to use this. So this has a little depression in the middle, which all the other buttons don't. But that's okay, because we'll just put a little more E6000, and I'll just put a little E6000 around this area too. And we'll also add a touch of hot glue in it. So this is what I'm going to do. Put quite a bit of the E6000. Like so. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the hot glue, just so it'll hold right now. And I'm going to place it right in the middle on the smaller one. Just like that. Okay. Find my lid, my cap, I mean. Okay. Alright, so now if you were just making a single layer flower, the only difference is you would, of course, put this button here. Now, if you wanted the button to sit a little higher, to make it a little more 3D, you can just cut out a little stiff felt circle and place it like that, and, you know, glue this on, hot glue this on, and then place the button on top, and it'll raise it a little higher so it won't be so level with the pearls. So remember that if you come across a flat back rhinestone button that is not quite as 3D, if it's a little more flat, you can do that. So the next thing we're going to do is take our triple thick. Oh, hold on for a second. Okay, I just used a little wooden stick And you could use a popsicle stick, anything you'd like. Take this cap off. And I think I'll start with this piece. And this is what I'm doing here. I'm just picking up some of the triple thick and scraping the bottom part off. And just kind of flood filling this like so. Scrape. All the way around. Scrape. Scrape. And see, this is not soaking in because we made that skin and we let it dry right on the stiff felt, so everything's sitting on top, which is exactly what we wanted it to do. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, I'm going to drop it a few times. Alright, close this for just a second. Alrighty, so now I have some little sea bead type pearls, and these look like little iridescent white pearls, and I bought these at Joann's. I got this when it was on sale. I think it was $1 or something a tube. And I'm just going to sprinkle a few here and there. Like so. And here, then I'll show you what else we'll do. Just gonna make sure it's flat in there. Alright, so then the next thing we're going to do is take some more seed beads. I'm choosing to use this these little gold 11.0 seed beads, and you can pick all these up, you know, at the craft stores. And I'm just sprinkling it, and it'll fall into the little spaces in between. Like so. And I'm also going to use some of this real pretty, kind of a, I don't know what you'd call this, a real light aqua. And this is 11.02. And this is, I think I got these at Michael's as well. And just kind of put them here and there. You don't have to put a whole lot on there. And anything that you have left here, you can just pick up and sprinkle here and there. You're just kind of filling empty spaces. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And when you have them in there, just give them a little light tap like this, and don't tip it upside down to shake any off or anything like that, because we're going to put a little coat of the triple thick on top of this once this dries. Not on top of this part, but just a nice thin coat on the top. So just get all these little pieces in here. And I think this looks pretty good. So now we're going to set this aside and let it dry. And we're going to do the big one here. And we'll do this the same way. Just going to flood fill this. Alright. Just going to kind of spread this around with the stick, just like this. These would be pretty on so many craft projects. Like in tags and you know, mixed media boxes. You can turn these into brooches. What else? What else did I not mention? Do you have any ideas? You can put them in the comments section below. Okay, so put this on here. So I'm going to get my little seed bead type pearls again. And sprinkle a few here and there. See, these are acrylic, so they're lighter weight. Okay, and close this up, and then of course I'll sprinkle some of the gold and then some of the aqua. Okay, and then I'll sprinkle some of the aqua here. And for those seed beads bouncing around a little bit on the outside, that's okay. Just collect them and you can use them on your next flower. This would be a good way to use up your seed beads. If you're like me, I have a lot of seed beads in there that I've had for several years. Okay. And I'm just going to just lightly tap, tap, tap. Not a whole lot, just a little bit. And you're not going to turn this upside down. You're just going to leave it like so. And then I'm doing a little more here as I'm talking. This will be really pretty by the time we're finished. And I chose to use light colors on this because I think that it'll really turn out pretty. Okay, so I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to let that completely dry. I'm going to let this sit probably for a full day, full 24 hours. Now, if you want it to dry a little faster, you could put this in front of your tabletop fan. And I know it's the winter right now, but you could put it in a separate room and close the door. But go ahead and do that. Let this dry for a full 24 hours, and we'll come back and we'll finish the rest. Okay, so through the magic of YouTube, it has been 24 hours, and I'm going to brush a little bit of the triple thick on top, right here. So I'm going to pour some of this triple thick right here into a Dixie cup. And I'm using this Wet n Wild makeup brush that I bought at the Dollar Tree. I'm going to start with this one And I'm just going to kind of tap it on like this. Right around the edges. And then we're going to add something to make it sparkle. Okay, not a whole lot, just a fairly thin coat. And I'm going to use this ultra fine glitter by Recollections called Glitz, and it's a real iridescent glitter. And I'm using the extra fine because I'm just going to put a touch of it on. I'm not going to pour it on, and I'm not going to use any kind of chunky glitters because I think the chunky glitters would probably cheapen the look of this. So I'm just going to put some in my hand because I want to be able to control what I put on the flower. And I'm just giving it a light sprinkle. Just like so. Okay. When this dries, it'll be really pretty. Okay, and I'm going to do the same exact thing to this one here. So let me get this off my hand. All right. And I think with this, I can just pour this like this on top. I had to be careful with the first one because I didn't want to get any on the button. And then I'm just going to kind of dab it around here. Doesn't have to be real thick. And this will cause this to adhere, the beads to adhere and be rock solid in there. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm holding it up kind of high, my hand, and just sprinkle, sprinkle. And then when this dries, it'll look like clear glass. So we're going to give this another 24-hour drying period. Okay, there's a lot of different things you can do to add leaves to this, and I really encourage you to experiment with this, and not just with the leaves, but with different color pearls and you know, different color chains and just all kinds of things. You know, just experiment with it and you know, make it your own. But some of the things that I thought of were for leaves. You can buy your own, of course, you know, and just add them like this. Or you can use this trim, and you can buy this leaf trim from Chinese sellers on eBay. Just, you know, cut it off here and add that to your flower. That would be pretty. Or you can just do something a little different, like I'm doing today. You can also cut off artificial flower leaves and add them, you know, the green leaves or gold leaves. But this is what I'm doing today. Now the first thing I'm using is the marabou right here. And I picked this up for pretty cheap at Michael's. It was hanging up in the kids section in a little plastic bag. Now, what drove me crazy at first is when I cut this, these little marabou feathery things were all over the place. And they would float in the air because they're so light. But I had a lady tell me, you take a little piece of tape and tape it off where you want to cut it, and then just cut through the middle of the tape, you won't have a whole lot of that problem. So I'm going to see if that works today. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue, I'm going to curve it around like this, like a half moon shape. And maybe hot glue it on the back like this, just at the top. You can also do it on the side and partially on the top as well. But I think with this I might just do it on the top. So cut off about this much, which is about, let's see, maybe 2.5 inches. So I'm going to find the middle part here and wrap this tape around it. This tape is a little wider than a normal tape, but that's all I had. So let's see if that helps. Hey, I think it did help. Yeah, sure did. So thank you, whoever told me about this. I can't remember your name. I'm very sorry, but I did remember your tip. Okay, so I'm going to put some hot glue right around here. So this will grab. And then if I need to add a little hot glue here at the end, I will do that. Just lightly tapping. And I think I need to add a little bit here, not much. Okay. There we go. Wait a minute, is that on there? Nope. Okay, now let's try that. Alright. I should be using my spatula that my dear friend got me. Hey, see, that helps. Better than using my fingers, huh? That's kind of cute, isn't it? So I really hope you give this a try and just experiment with this and make it your own. It's very solid. I'll show you. Very solid. And I'll give you all the links, of course, in the drop-down bar below. So I hope you really try it. And if you do, then I would love to see the pictures. You can come to my Facebook page and post them there. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless each and every one of you. Take care now.